Hello everybody, welcome to this video about APA formatting. Um, in this video we are going to talk about APA formatting using a assignment from the class Administration of Justice 110 as our example. And in this video I'm going to be going back and forth between this sample paper and a blank document to kind of show you how to do what has been done on the sample paper. So, APA formatting, like other formatting styles, your text should be Times New Roman. It should be double spaced from beginning to end with no additional spaces. It has a running header with the page number. And there are some things that make it different, such as this title page, and also that you don't include your last name in front of the page number in the running header. So let's switch over to the sample paper and see how we can get ourselves set up here. First things first, this is in Word, okay, but everything that I'm doing here you can also do in Google Docs. You might have to do a little digging to figure out how to do things in Google Docs that I'm showing you how to do here, but they all have the same functions. So we want to choose our font here, and I have Times New Roman up here because I've recently used it, but all the fonts are in alphabetical order, so if it's not up there for you for easy access, you can just scroll down and select it somewhere around here. There it is, Times New Roman. We want 12-point font, so we're going to change that 11 to 12, right? Here we have our line spacing. We want double spacing, and we want to select this option that says remove space after paragraph to make sure that no additional spaces are added when we make our paragraph breaks. So ultimately, you should have the option to add space before or after paragraphs, not remove spaces before or after paragraphs. And to create our running header with the page number, we just go to Insert here. We go to Page Number. We want it at the top of the page, and we want it in the top right up there. And then you can just double click outside of that to go back to your home page. Now, as we can see in the sample paper, there's kind of a block of information right here in the middle of the page, as well as a block of information down here at the bottom of the page. Each of these blocks are about 8 spaces down, double space. So we will go, first of all, we want to center it because those blocks of information were center aligned. So we'll hit the center right there, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till we're about in the middle of the page. And that first block, just to go over it again, is the title of our paper, our name, and the college that we're attending. So in this case, it's just, the constitutionality of search warrants. I'm Ben Jameson, and the college is Los Medanos, right? Okay, then we're going to go 8 more spaces down. And that second block of information includes, let's go back to the sample paper, the class name, our instructor's name, and the date that the paper is due, right? So in this case, we'll just say Administration of Justice, and our teacher in this case is Professor Anthony Haley, and the date that this is due, I believe, was April 27th, 2021, right? So there we go, and then we just move right along to the body of our paper. Now, the body of our paper is not centered, of course, it's left aligned, so we're going to want to fix that, and then we're going to want to hit the Tab key once to indent, because you want to indent the start of every paragraph, just like other major formatting types. So that's basically how you do the title page and move along to the body of the essay. Notice in the body of the essay you don't need a heading, so you don't need to put your class information and your information here, and you don't need a title here because you've already taken care of that stuff on your title page, so you just jump right into the essay, right? Now there's a few different types of in-text citations that you can do for APA formatting, right? So in this case, we've started our paper, right, talking about what we want to talk about, and then we're about to quote our first, piece of evidence or information to support the claims we're making. In this case, when we're introducing the source that we are drawing our quote from, we introduce the title of the book. So in APA, when you do that, the title of the book, of course, is in italics, as it always is. And then, unlike other formatting types, after you've introduced the title of the book, you put in parentheses the authors and the year that the book was published, right? So typically you might see that information at the end of a quote. In APA, it comes in between after you've mentioned the title of the book and before you've given the quote. And then, similar to other styles, after you've given the quote here, you put the page number in parentheses with a little p and a period to signify page, right? And remember, you don't have a period after the quote. The period for the sentence goes after the semicolons. All right. Now, additionally, when in APA we're citing from an article, not a book, but an article, we might introduce the fact that our quote is coming, and we might give the title of the article as we've done here. But unlike other formats, APA, you don't need to put the title of the article in quotation marks. You can just let it ride, naked, so to speak. But as we did with the book, you want to put the author and the year that it was published after you've introduced the title. And then we go on and we include our quote here, right? And then we put the page number after the quote with the period for the sentence going after the parentheses there. All right. The third way that you might do an in-text citation for APA is when you don't really introduce the title of a book or an article before the quote. You just kind of drop in the quote without kind of introducing where it's coming from, which is fine. But then you want to put the names of the authors, the year it was published, and the page number in parentheses after the quote. So that's when you are giving a quote and you're not introducing the title of the book or the article where it came from. If you choose to work that way, then you give the author's names and the year and the page number after the quote. So those are kind of the three main ways that we do in-text citations in APA formatting, right? We have the title of the book with the author's names and the year it was published, and then the page number after the quote. We have a title of an article not in quotation marks with the author's name and the year after the title of the article, and then the page number after the quote. And then we have no introduction of where the quote is coming from, just giving the quote. And if you do it that way, then you put the author's names, the year it was published, and the page number after the quote. All right, so feel free to watch this video as many times as you need to kind of understand that. But moving right along to the references page. So the references page is maybe similar to a bibliography or a works cited page, but in APA we call it references. Notice the references are listed in alphabetical order by the author's last name. So in this case, the book has 3 different authors. Cole was the first author listed on the book. So that's the first author listed in our citation, and therefore we're listing this citation alphabetically by this author's last name, right? So we have the author's last names, or first initials, right? And then, unlike other ways of citing on a references or works cited page, we have the year following the authors in parentheses. And then we have, in this case, it's a textbook, so we have the title of the book in italics, right? And where it was published and who the publishing company was. Then moving right along, we have the article that we pulled from, the title of the author, right? And of course, S goes after C, so it's in alphabetical order. We have, again, following the author's name, we have the year that the article was published. We have the title of the article, not in quotation marks. And then because this came from the internet, we want to say when we retrieved the article, and then you end the citation when it's from a website with the actual URL of the website as the last piece of information. So you'll also notice that when we list our sources on a references page, the sources are aligned left with any line running beyond the first line indented. So it's kind of like the opposite of what a normal paragraph looks like. Um, every line after the first line is what's indented, whereas a regular paragraph is the first line that's indented. So we call this a hanging indent, and it can be a little tricky, but basically the way that you achieve it, and I'll go to our blank document. I'll go to our blank document to kind of show you how to achieve what I'm talking about. So here's our blank document. The references page starts on a separate page, right? And then we put the title references in the center at the top. Ref. All right, cool. And then one space, and then we align left, right? Because the citations are aligned all the way to the left. And we type in the author's last names first with the first initials following that. And then we use the ampersand. All right, so we have our author's last names. And then in APA, we put the year following the author's names. And then we put the title of the book, which, goes in italics, right? The American System of Criminal Justice, period. All right, then we're going to take our italics off. And then this was published in Boston, Massachusetts, period. And then we'll use a colon, and then the publishing company is Cengage Learning, the period. So we can see that our citation is more than one line long, so we have to use a hanging indent to indent this second line. So all we have to do is hit the enter or return key once, and we'll see that it does not move, right? And then we hit the tab key to make sure it's indented, just like that. And then that's how you do your hanging indent. And then you can move on, hit return, make sure you're aligned all the way left, maybe by hitting the backspace key, and then you're ready to put in your second citation. So that should be everything that you need to know for getting started with proper APA formatting. If you need additional resources, there's this really great website called the Purdue OWL, and they have everything you need to know about writing papers, APA, MLA, Chicago, whatever you need to know, works cited pages, everything, thesis statements. It's your one-stop place to go to for all your paper writing support and needs. So I have it pulled up here. It's just called the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And if you wanted to just do a quick Google search for it, you can just type in, Purdue OWL, and then, maybe you could even include anything that you were interested in specifically. So in this case, we were doing APA, and then it's the first thing that comes up, the Purdue OWL APA General Format. Also, feel free to make appointments with us here at the Center for Academic Support. Our website is easily found on the Los Medanos College website. You can just type in the Center for Academic Support in the search bar, or find us under Services for Students. It should not be a problem. There's a phone number, there's a website there. It's really easy to link up with us and make an appointment for any needs. We're here to support you at any stage during the writing process. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful, and take care.